Go ahead, Eric.
Excellent. Thank you, Jorge. So I'll be talking, like Jorge mentioned, the Moon to Mars dust mitigation capabilities development. Next slide, please. So our capabilities integration team is responsible for identifying capability gaps and strategic planning of capability development and demonstration. So this year, we assessed 32 gaps that are relevant to dust mitigation within the current Moon to Mars architecture and the associated elements. Within those gaps, you can kind of group them three different ways. You've got knowledge, technology development, and architecture. The knowledge gaps, and a lot of folks have already alluded to these, but the knowledge gaps are really looking at the properties and characteristics of lunar dust, understanding those, and they're essential to highlight really because they are the ones that are going to be driving a lot of the design requirements. Next slide, please. So this is looking at really a high-level look at dust mitigation approaches and strategies. So on the left-hand side with the system design, it's more of an assessment of technology development capability gaps to mitigate those dust-imposed limitations. Again, a lot of different panelists will be talking about this, so I'm going to focus on the right side. Over with the architecture design, and this is kind of more of a discussion of alternative approaches. So we can do things like implement redundant systems, we can modify our spares and logistics strategies, and some of these, a lot of these would be complementary to those system designs, but each of them are going to carry different cost, complexity, and risk considerations. Another thing is that they're not a one-size-fits-all, so there's some complexity in the application of these. Different elements are going to have different acceptable risk values depending on the functionality, what they're supporting, et cetera. Now, in reality and in practice, the design cycle for both of these system and architectures are intertwined and complementary. They're not done separately. And so what we wanted to do is highlight some of the overlapping considerations. So that's that center area.
Eric, you have 1 minute remaining.
All right, thank you. So we're looking at the first and second order systems interactions, and Gary and Michael and some other folks have mentioned this as well, but what those surface systems and how they interact with non-surface systems. And really what we're wanting to look at is dust mitigation strategies to combat dust transfer kind of across the entire chain of interacting systems. The last piece is that reliability-based requirements definition in the context of component, system, and element operational life, really understanding the failure modes associated with those and the implications of those failure modes on the overall risk portfolio, and then identifying acceptable risk values for each of those components, systems, and elements. Next slide, please. Again, just some high level considerations. Sorry, I didn't realize that hyperlinked. But that's my email if you can read it, and would love to answer any questions offline. Thank you.